Alright, what's going on, you fam? Raiyuden here. It's time to do another top 10 list. Now, normally, I do these at the end of the month. I feel like that's when we get all the buffs, and we can map out a picture of what the meta looks like. This time I waited. Revival Gohan Zenkai Awakening was just around the corner, and with the way that this game treats Gohan characters, I knew it was going to be top 10 worthy, and it was going to shift the meta drastically. There was a lot of talk between who the number one character is, but with that Zenkai Awakening, I think we can all agree where the crown goes. I think it's very, very clear what the number one character is now, and I think the entire meta is going to revolve around this character. Now, before we jump into the top 10 list, I just want to note, this is my own experience facing and using these characters. Your opinion may differ. It all boils down to what you value, and I also use these characters at various star levels, which will influence their placings and maybe influence your own. So keep that in mind. Well, let's just quickly jump into it with the number one character, to no one's shock, Trunks and Gohan. This character is just a behemoth of power. I'm almost baffled at how powerful this character is, and I feel like I can comfortably say the entire meta revolves around this character. This is the most important character in the meta right now. This is the one with the most impact. This is the one with the most influence. This character is in every match, and if you don't run into them, you subconsciously breathe a sigh of relief. This character is overwhelming, unbelievably powerful. The list of ways that this guy can just become very, very powerful is ridiculous. So this is a character that will stack damage guard penetration, and then can very easily net overdrive because they fill their overdrive gauge with their tag switches. This character, because they stack damage guard penetration, their overdrives are basically a mini rush. So a character that can constantly spit out overdrives while stacking up damage inflicted, while stacking damage guard penetration, and within their kit, they disrespect the battle system because they constantly force draw cards, constantly net additional ki, and the confrontation gauge continues to give them damage, cards, and ki. Basically means very little characters can stop this guy. Trunks and Gohan are just a steamroller of power. They just go on and on and on. And oftentimes when you deal with this character, when you do 1 or 2 swaps on the defensive front so you don't die, the combo's already past 80. They do so much damage. They are the strongest character ever in terms of offenses. Now, of course, their defenses are nothing to laugh at either. One of the criticisms this character has is they don't have a second life, but they damn well gave them everything to feel like you can't kill that first life. This character kills 2 cards, but in a very annoying way. You hit them once, it kills 1 card. You hit them again, it kills another card. I can't tell you the number of times this has caused me to drop a combo because the card Trunks and Gohan kills is often the most important card in my hand. I often say, don't kill the Dragon Ball card. Don't kill my green card. Don't kill my blue card. They somehow always know the card to kill. The card I need the most, they will kill it. This character steals rushes too. Unbelievably annoying. Very annoying to deal with because oftentimes the rush is what you're banking on to finally kill someone on the enemy team, but you can't. They're gonna seal up the rush. And the final bit, this character removes attribute upgrades while debuffing big moves. People don't talk about this enough, but the attribute upgrades removal is why it feels like no one can hit them with a big move and actually kill them. That is them stripping away any damage stacking you have done. So you use a character that stacks up damage inflicted, you use 4 cards, let's say you got 100% damage inflicted from stacks, you use the blue card, it's all gone. Not to mention 40% of the power of that big move you're trying to use, gone. That's why this character feels like they just can't die. Unbelievably powerful, jam-packed character. I think the entire meta revolves around them. The Zenkai buffs, the teams you make, the teams you fight, the characters you consider on your roster, who you're trying to counter. I think Trunks and Gohan just have the tightest grip on how every match going forward is going to be. And for those reasons, I have to put them at number 1. Too impactful, too important. People are too reliant on it. They just are the best characters in the game. This is just the best tag in the game. They are too damn strong to not be. Number 1 for me, Trunks and Gohan. Now, number 2, Ultra Gogeta Blue, the second. This might be a bit weird, because in the previous tier list, I actually put Gogeta at 4th, and I'm going to explain why. At the time, Green Broly and Red Broly were controlling the entire game. Green Broly had the strongest neutral game ever. The constant main seals, the rush seals, and the disrupts never... they interfered with Gogeta's ability to combo and stack up damage. You almost never got this guy to his full potential, especially his Stardust Fall. And then the Red Broly just did a much better job seizing control of the fight. The no-switching, the constant force drawing of cards via his gauge. These two just felt like they were running the town. They were running the show. So Gogeta had to lose a few points because these two were just far more important and were doing far more. But now, Trunks and Gohan brutally beat this Green Broly. And now with Green Broly not being around as often, Gogeta has a chance to shine. Now you can do the combos that you wanted to do. Now you can actually rely on using your main ability. Now you can stack up good enough damage for the Stardust Fall. Gogeta now has the breathing room to show what he can do now that these other two are out of the way. The two biggest checks in the game are now being oppressed, so Gogeta can shine. Another thing is Gogeta has one of the few things in his kit that nobody else has that can help deal with Trunks and Gohan, and it's the Stardust Fall. This thing is going to be your ace in the pocket. If everyone has to be intimidated by Trunks and Gohan because of how powerful they are, Trunks and Gohan have to be intimidated by Gogeta because if they screw up, then a Stardust Fall is going to kill them. Remember, Stardust Fall is not an arts card. So that attribute buff removal we talked about, that minus 40% big move power we talked about, doesn't apply to Stardust Fall. So Gogeta is their biggest threat. So being able to rely on Stardust Fall to lock them in, to nuke them out, or if you PV your opponent with their Trunks and Gohan, or you vanish one of their strike cards, the Stardust Fall is going to be your ace to taking care of them. So now with the additional breathing room, the opportunity to combo as he needed, and with the value that comes out of his Stardust Fall, I feel pretty comfortable saying Gogeta is now number 2. Really, really good. So I'm happy for you, Gogeta. You got the breathing room that you needed. Number 3, I'm going to give it to Rosé. I have to give it to Rosé. The meta right now is going to be 2 Revival Hybrid Saiyans with Trunks and Gohan. So we're looking at an abundance of Revival characters. We're looking at an abundance of Sun Family characters, which opens the floor for Rosé perfectly. I think this is the perfect show for him. His anti-revival abilities, his extra damage against these Sun Family characters, and his very strong disrupt, which can help you deal with the Trunks and Gohan, are why he's going to be placed so much higher. Not to mention, being a Blue Plus character, you basically need Blue Plus to deal with Trunks and Gohan. You absolutely need it. You need one person to cover the Trunks side when he's red, and you're going to need a yellow character to deal with the Gohan side when they're purple plus, which is why I am going to direct us over to number 4. His best friend, I'm going to give to Yellow Goku Black. I think the Blue Rosé and the Yellow Goku Black are going to be your strongest answers to helping deal with Trunks and Gohan. Not only do they synergize perfectly together, but these two also have the perfect type synergy to deal with the Trunks and Gohan. So having a character that could be type advantage against Gohan with an abundance of blues to help deal with them, and then the other side having type advantage over the Trunks side and the constant blues and ultimates that they spit out and how they can waste Trunks and Gohan's debuffing opportunities. I think it makes the most sense to have these two here next. I just think they have such a big impact and a big role to helping keep Trunks and Gohan in check. So I don't need to explain too much for Goku Black. I feel like we've covered it already. He's just moved around a little bit because of where the other characters that have released have influenced his current placement. So number 4 is going to be Yellow Goku Black. Number 5. It's a good thing I waited for this guy's Zenkai Awakening, but for me, it's going to be the Revival Gohan. They really gave this guy everything he needed to help out the Trunks and Gohan. Number 1, they made his main ability prior to reviving give the special move buff to his entire team. So in his pre-revive state, he plays a really good supportive role. He's able to provide a green card. He's able to have his own sub-count manipulation. They gave him some of the basic stuff that we needed, like the cover null. But the big thing is his Zenkai buffer is for purple hybrids. They fully intended you to run the Revival Gohan with the Trunks and Gohan, just with a very, very juiced up setup, like a mono purple setup with them. They knew what they were doing. The Zenkai buffer not being for purple movies should tell you where they're going with this guy. Once he revives, though, he fills in the gaps that Trunks and Gohan had originally in their previous teams, and that's the AoE green. The AoE green is going to be one of the biggest deciding factors now in terms of PvP. Not only that, but Gohan has one of the hardest hitting blue cards. They didn't do anything to change that fact for Gohan, and if he faces powerful opponent enemies, then he goes type neutral. In the showcase that I did for Gohan, he comfortably one-shot Yellow Goku Black multiple times. You guys see it. In a few matches, we just one-shot Yellow Goku Black like it was nothing. Yellow Goku Black is truly saved by the fact that his unique equip gives him standby blue card buff removal. But yeah, the purple Gohan just synergizes too well with the number 1 character to be placed low. He fits the bill perfectly. He gives them the AoE green, and the worst part is he gives them a revival. Trunks and Gohan basically hurt the value of endurance, which coincidentally everybody has here, but he gave a tremendous amount of value to revival. And with one of his best friends being a character with revival instead of endurance, they filled in all the slots, man. So that guy still has stacking damage like the other Gohan. AoE green. He has 2 instances of damage guard penetration. I think it's up to 55%. One of the hardest hitting blue cards as well. Plays the baby support role for Trunks and Gohan. Number 5 for me is definitely the Revival Gohan. It's just too perfect for it not to be. All right, number 6. This is a huge upswing, but I'm going to give it to FSK. Again, there's something about this character, he just doesn't want to die. Every character from that Legends Fest where he released is irrelevant. Nobody uses them, they're not on any top 10 list, they're not even worth mentioning. But for some reason, this Gohan refuses to die.
Why are you still here? Come on, go!
He doesn't go anywhere. They recently put him back on the featured boost, but a big reason why he has so much value is for the same reason why he was overpowered back then. Number 1, this is a character that absolutely disrespects the battle system. An abundance of force-drawn cards from him. Number 2, he's another character with revival. Like I said with the purple Gohan, Trunks and Gohan hurt the value of every endurance character. You have to worry about that hard-hitting blue, the overdrive, the Legends action. So this guy having a revival gives him some points because his second life stems from something else. Number 3, his green cards. He's another character that has an AoE green. And typically, any team that can leverage 2 AoE greens while simultaneously supplying their own greens just becomes one of the most difficult teams to deal with. So we're looking at a Hybrid Saiyan variant of the yellow green team with the full power Super Saiyan 4 and yellow Namek Goku. It basically feels like that again, except this one is far worse because hybrids have superior equips and the Zenkai buffers as well. So revival, support, generation of green cards, and he is just another character that force draws a million cards. This team, to me, is probably one of the best teams in the game. Trunks and Gohan, Purple Revival Gohan, Blue Revival Gohan. You're looking at an entire lineup that force draws infinite cards, AoE greens, supporting one another, synergizing type-wise perfectly. The setup is going to be the blue FSK in the leader slot, Trunks and Gohan with the Revival Gohan, and your entire bench is just a bunch of purple characters, super juicing them up. There's no compromise. Typically, when you make these teams that hyper-focus on one character, there's a compromise on the other two, because you have to run with subpar benches, or you have to run with subpar characters. But in this case, there isn't any. There really isn't. Trunks and Gohan can just run wild, super powered up. Revival Gohan gets to be another monster that one-shots everyone, super powered up. And then your Revival Gohan can play the technical support role. Another character with a second life, a main ability that gives you one of every card, AoE greens, and when he revives, he supports the team again. So he has to be here. These three together are the spookiest team right now. And funny enough, these three, the division of these three is exactly the two teams I see the most often. So the hybrids together, and then Gogeta paired alongside the two Goku Blacks as a God Key setup. This is what I think is going to be the most popular characters in the meta. It's very, very crazy. So for number 7 then, we're going to go straight with Green Broly. Green Broly is still the beast that he always was. The issue now is he has far more oppression. Him being able to seal up main abilities and rising rushes is still valuable. His auto counter gauge is still valuable, stopping your opponent dead in their tracks. And his Legends action, giving him type neutral, is going to be valuable, given that we now have a powerful Revival Purple, as well as the purple side of Trunks and Gohan. The problem is, needing to get hit to fill up the unique gauge is difficult because Broly is going to take so much more damage. Trunks and Gohan just hurt that badly. The new Revival Gohan just hurts that much. Not to mention, because Trunks and Gohan got better teams, better allies, better Zenkai buffers, they are able to really take advantage of their own blue card generation with their Legends action to just kill Broly. Broly just gets absolutely shredded now. So he's still good. It's just there's far more intimidating characters in the meta that have pushed him from where he was before. This guy was comfortably top 3, but they just decided to come out with the craziest purple character ever and the purple Zenkai buffer to run alongside him perfectly as well. So Broly, I'm sorry, man. You lost some points. You can still do things. It's just far scarier to leverage those things now that this guy comes out with his anti-endurance. All right, next character. Now, if this tier list looks a little bit different, the tier list has updated and changed on the fly. I'm also re-recording like the last 20% of this tier list because my editor has noted that I have forgotten a character. I, for some reason, thought Green Broly was 8 and I was talking about character 9, so we missed one. Good old sleep deprivation. Either way, so I got Green Broly at number 7. Number 8, we're just reiterating what we had before. By the way, Hydros, this is really sick, this new organization that you have. Number 8, I'm going to give to Red Broly. The synergy between the Red and Green Broly is still really, really strong. His no switching ability is still powerful. The type neutral that he gets via his unique gauge is great. And no switching with the number 1 character in the game being someone without a second life is very, very strong. Don't get the wrong impression. Red Broly is definitely not at the peak that he was just a few weeks ago because his ace partner Green Broly got hurt. And they also took him out of the featured boost, so he lost a little bit of his stats there. But a character with all the traits that he has is still fully capable. Remember, in a top 10 list, all of these guys within their own right can win you games. It just gets ordered in how easy said character could make it, could perform that kind of thing. So in this case, Red Broly, he's lost significant points versus the previous tier list because his best friend got hurt. There are characters with far more damage dealing aspects. And one thing that kind of hurts him is two of the more frequent characters that you see are revival characters. So it becomes very easy to waste Red Broly's no-switching ability. That is what made him so intimidating prior. He was being an absolute detriment to characters that had insurances. He really put Yellow Goku Black in check. But with two revivals, they're very powerful disrupt, their card draw reduction. It really hurts his ability to combo, fill the gauge, and leverage no-switching as an ability to snipe out a character. So he's still good. Unfortunately, he's just lost some points. So we got Red Broly there at number 8. Now next, this is something I'm really happy to see. I'm going to go ahead and put Pan as number 9. I think Pan is a fantastic 1%. And I've said this before, but I think Legends should... I think 1% characters that hyper-focus on their supportive capabilities age well and perform better than if they try to make a 1% focus on damage-dealing aspects or tanking. For example, the support Feet Ku for the Saiyan Saga team, Ku for the Daima team. We've seen Red Pan actually was ran for quite a while. This Yellow Pan is on that same caliber in that she provides monstrous support. She can get up to 50% damage inflicted uncancelable for movies, hybrids, and the like. She provides additional damage guard. But she has two interesting quirks that could straight up win you games. The first one is a lot easier to leverage, and it's her green card. After 40 timer counts, her green card is able to take away enemy vanish. And in this meta where we have characters that can just go on a stomping ground very easily, everybody can just take a priority and really run with it in terms of damage. Being able to take away vanish, catching your opponent off guard, and hitting them with that free combo is the kind of thing that would kill someone and get you that easy win. Really change the direction of the battle to your favor. That's number 1. Number 2, she has the super powerful effect when you use charge attacks, aka when you land a kick. Being able to lock an opponent in for 5 timer counts and then freely switch to anybody else because they remove, it lowers ally sub count by 10, is just a halfway ticket to getting a free kill. It's such a powerful ability. You guys have seen me leverage it several times against characters that you would really want to snipe out, or in some showcases, leverage it with characters that can really take advantage of that singular priority, like the Red Broly. Land a kick with Pan, switch into Red Broly, now you have a no switching snipe ability that's so powerful. But Pan is seen frequently on all the best teams. Hybrid Saiyans, you see iterations of Hybrid Saiyans where they drop the blue Father-Son Kamehameha Gohan and instead go with a mono purple setup and then throw Pan in the leader slot. She just provides that much. You see her as a mainstay character for movies. People have noticed that Android 13 without the A tier boost feels like a bit of a liability. Gogeta often ran with the green Broly. People stitch it together by throwing in Pan. Outside of the support, she's healing the team, which is great, but she also has the disruptive effects that you can leverage, and those translate to tickets for you to embrace the risk out of the kick. So if you miss the kick, it isn't too bad if you're careful, because her disrupt allows you to stop the combo and take that risk again. It sort of mitigates how bad the risk is. There's not too many characters that have Protect Hand, although ironically the Purple Revival Gohan has it. So I think Pan is really, really awesome. Just some of the best teams in the game, best characters in the game, iterations of their teams will have Pan there. So I got Pan as number 9. It's really awesome to see 1% characters still live up to being some of the best characters in the game. Now the next thing, another thing that makes me happy, is a Zenkai being up there. Another LF Zenkai. In my opinion, I think LF Cell deserves to be in the top 10 list. He fits on a version of a team that juices up the Trunks and Gohan. He makes it so that you can run a very juiced up version of the future team with them. You would go with the Trunks and Gohan, Perfect Cell, Mono Purple support bench for Purple Future, and then you can leader slot any character that you want. Cell is just a character that also has some strong attributes in this meta. AoE greens being one of them, the feint chance off the main with the blue, getting the vanish back with the unique gauge. But another thing is also how you can really leverage his final explosion, his little death animation, for getting priority again. If you have scenarios where you and your opponent are down to just 2 characters and you leverage that, I mean, between having no rush available, no main ability, no cards in your hand, it almost guarantees you getting a priority. And like I said, with Pan or any other one of these characters, a lot of them can take one singular priority and win you the match. So by the mid to late game, being able to take advantage of that and stripping away all the tools your opponent has to fight back, I think shines really brightly in this meta. So Cell's still really good. He's on iterations of teams where some of the best characters are, like I just said. So you could run him on a future setup, but typically you'll see him ran alongside the Trunks and Gohan. So I think he has to fit on the top 10. He does really, really well. Now I wanted to make an honorable mention list. These characters are still good in their own right. They are capable, but they aren't typically seen as the first choice on a team, or if they are good in their own right, their teams are sort of lacking a bit or hurt. And I wanted to start with an obvious one, which is Shallot. Shallot is such a difficult character to grade because the potential in his blue cards is certainly there. He has some of the most powerful effects in the game in his blue card. The 100% chance to land the feint is ridiculous. Having the no switch helps you get snipes. Penetrating damage guard is helpful for it to deal more damage. And the no healing is more of a niche scenario thing. But really, it's the feint and the no switch that are really valuable from Shallot. The problem is, you don't know which of those effects you're going to get until you land the blue card. That's why people sort of meme him as the potential man, because the difference between him landing the powerful effects and you landing the not so powerful effects is huge. It's the difference between Shallot looking like a top 5 character that will win you the entire game if he consistently gets no switches and feints, or he looks like someone that is just dead weight on your team because he only gets the no healing. The healing limit effect, sorry. When you use those blue cards and you try to think of other team members that Shallot would be with, the blue card is just a combo ender. So you're really banking on getting a powerful effect from it. That's why Shallot is just so difficult to grade. The reason why I have him on honorable mentions is he doesn't really feel like he would be a main pick on any of his teams. He was released as a green fusion warrior to help Ultra Gogeta Blue. He's able to supplement him with green cards, which is awesome. Shallot is also a range character. He also provides a baby support, and just like UGB, has debuffing with a second life. Really, really strong effects. The problem is, for the same reason that Broly got hurt really badly, Shallot is going to be hurt really badly as well. They made his gimmick the ability to go light type as a pseudo type neutral. However, there are instances where this would hurt him more because Gohan and Trunks are typically ran with the blue FSK. This opens the door for blue FSK to actually be type neutral against Shallot and actually deal damage to him in other scenarios where he probably wouldn't if he had type neutral while maintaining his green type. So I'm putting him at honorable mention because he's still good. I think people judge Shallot very harshly. We still need to keep in mind that this is a character with 2 lives, debuffing, very powerful disrupt, a Legends action, type neutral, and really powerful effects in the blue. It's just such a slot machine character. The one praise I will give him though, This is the first character where you as the player can influence the rate of you getting these powerful abilities. Typically, when a character has like a faint chance or a paralysis chance, it's not really up to you too much in how well you're gonna proc it, but in Shalette's case, you can. You simply have to get more blue cards in your hand. And because Shalette meets you halfway by generating his own green cards, you just need to find one other source to provide him additional blues. Then it becomes a 50-50 on whether or not you're gonna get the most powerful ability, which is the feint. I've had many scenarios where Shalette consistently gets feints back to back to back, and he single-handedly takes us to the finish line in the fight. Some teams I used him with feature Rosé, Yellow Goku Black, and him in the later slot, where you use the Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta to provide him a Zenkai buff. He's basically ran on God Key. Blue Rosé generates blues, Yellow Goku Black generates blues with a full gauge. So if you sort of meet Shalette halfway and help him with generating blues, then he'll reward you by getting more frequent procs. But otherwise, that's why I gotta put him in honorable mention. I just think for Gogeta, he may have been a suitable ally, but people are gonna find running the green Broly more consistent with him. They kind of... I don't want to say they could have done more for him, but I think it would have been smarter if they leaned more towards just making him a all-around competent character versus them withholding because they feared they would go too far with his slot machine blue card ability. So Shalette, honorable mentions. He's still really good. I just think he's not going to be a primary choice on all of his teams, and the difference between him looking like an absolute god and him looking like just a sideline character, a bench warmer, is just those blue cards. So I'm going to put him there. Next, I'm going to put Piccolo, Legend Piccolo. Like I said, similar to Shalette, he is a capable character for sure. I think Piccolo with the anti-revival ability is pretty strong in this meta because there's 2 revival characters in almost every single fight. The reason why I can't put him higher in a top 10 is because of his teams. They really did no service for Piccolo when it came to setting up something comfortably for him. In almost all of his teams, you're going to run him with Perfect Cell, and I don't feel a team with Piccolo and Perfect Cell is competent enough to measure up to some of the other teams that you deal with. I'll give you an example. You run Piccolo and Cell, your war of attrition against a team like Hybrids, where you got 2 revivals and all the disrupt from this guy, you're gonna lose. What about a God Key setup? UGB with Rosé and Yellow Goku Black, you're probably gonna lose. Even if you're going up against the 2 Brolys together, it just doesn't feel like his teams are competent enough, spongy enough, durable enough to measure up to what every other team looks like, even if he individually has the tools to really hurt some of the best characters in this meta. He's still blue plus. He still has anti-revival. He could still generate a very easy ultimate. But almost every character here is debuffing big moves, has plenty of sub-count manipulation to go somewhere else, just finding ways to really smush Piccolo. So if he had better team members, I would feel more comfortable putting him higher, but with everything that I just mentioned, I think honorable mention is a better placement than anywhere higher. That's just how I feel with this guy. Next, I'm going to put Super Vegito. Again, it's for all the same reasons. There's nothing really stopping Super Vegito from going on a rampage. He's still capable, the multiple ultimates, the 3 methods of generating offensive powers, his Legends action, his devastating blue card. There are some greens in this meta. The problem is his teams. Again, when you want to try to run a Fusion Warrior setup, you're probably going to feel more comfortable running Ultra Gogeta Blue on a more God Key setup, just because it's more durable. The other team members provide more tools to deal with the meta than what Super Vegeta would had. So it's really just a team issue, less so a character issue. Any one of his allies would feel more comfortable being ran on a different team. There's nothing stopping you running Super Vegeta with Ultra Gogeta Blue. Zenkai buffers can help bridge the gap of the awkwardness between a ranged character and a strike-oriented character. But anytime people think of setting up a team for Ultra Gogeta Blue, I think they would also think, okay, I would like to have somebody that helps me deal with the Trunks and Gohan, so blue Rosé automatically. And because I want to deal with Trunks and Gohan, I would like a blue and a yellow respectively, so Rosé and yellow Goku Black. Same idea. So that's why I'm putting him in honorable mentions. That's, I think, where he's going to fit. Now, honestly, the honorable mentions list can go on forever just because you can just list off a bunch of characters. You could still throw 13 in here if you wanted to, because 13 on a movie setup, some people still really like that he has a revival and that one card strong disrupt. The main ability can be pretty useful for characters like Shallot, where you get a green and a blue. On niche movie teams, if you don't have Pan, you're typically running 13. Some people just value the revival more than Pan's disrupt because you're not gonna risk losing a character with one blue. There's some more ranged oriented teams, and blast card ceiling could be helpful. So I think it's worth putting him in honorable mention. On all of his teams, he's not the primary pick, but no one's gonna raise an eyebrow if he's your secondary choice. So honorable mention seems fair for me. I just want to make sure I don't miss out on any obvious picks, because I know I'm going to get a comment about it. Someone will certainly say, why would you forget about so-and-so character? But I just don't want the honorable mentions list to go on forever. So I would have loved to put Mini Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but his teams are just non-existent. Same idea with Sword of Hope Trunks. You're probably going to be running hybrids with the Super Juice setup. Bardock, I don't think I can run anywhere because there's 3 powerful teams here. GT, unfortunately, hurt pretty badly. Just absolute stupendous power creep. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I think I'm feeling pretty comfortable with those picks. If I forgot somebody, then it's probably someone I would have otherwise just put in honorable mentions. But I think that pretty much covers what I think is a good snapshot of the most frequent characters you see right now. So you guys let me know in the comment section below, what does your top 10 look like? Do you have any disagreements with his placements? Let me know. We can always discuss. And again, let me remind you that this is really just what I think the meta looks like. Your experiences will differ. You know, there's different queues, different priorities, there's different character picks and different things that you value. It's all up in the air really, but for me, this is how I'd grade all the characters that I see. But either way, appreciate you guys tuning in. See you in the next one. And until then, peace.